What's good, family? Smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. Well. What can I say, folks? What can I say? Listen. Why? Nostradamus B strikes again. And you know what the thing is for me? I've got so many hating looking ass dons out there who say YB ain't got no sources, YB ain't got a lick of a clue about nothing. Oops. What do we know again? In fact, let me tell you what we do know for a fact right now. Yeah? Not one channel. Show me one channel. All these other Johnny come latelys, all these other Johnny come 15 hours after the news is out. I told you how many days ago? Yeah? Eddie Hearn for the last week or 2 weeks been telling you, man. And all these goofy channels been reporting, oh yeah, don't worry, oh, Dillian White versus Fury, yeah, it's all booked in. It's all booked in nicely, yeah, Eddie Hearn said. I even had, when I leaked the information, that WBC had been touched, and they ain't ordering no Dillian White versus Fury fight. I had goofies telling me, YB, who are you to say? How are you meant to know more than Eddie Hearn? Oops. Yeah? How many times I got to tell you? I don't miss. Simple as that. Not even a bit of missing does YB. Not even a bit of missing does the YB be doing. Yeah? Let's get it straight. So anyway, before I carry on cooking some of you hating looking ass dons, bottom line is, as you can see on your screen, every major news authority is now printing the fact that your man Dillian White, the WBC convention which took place on Tuesday, where Eddie Hearn's been gassing the thing up for how long now? How many weeks now has Eddie Hearn been gassing it up about, yeah, Tuesday it's coming. And I told you a few days ago, it ain't coming nowhere, because guess what? When WBC was mandating Usyk versus Fury, they weren't waiting for no convention. You understand that? Yeah? You don't need a convention. Since when do you need a convention to make a fight? The minute I hear, oh, you got to have a convention, that tells you that they're looking for some sort of process for them to fight. Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, the convention didn't pass it. Sorry, boss. Oh, yeah, I couldn't pass it on the convention. Oh, there was 10 votes, and it's a confidential vote, and it didn't go your way. One of them ones. Yeah, because I don't know about you, man, yeah, but we've heard of how many fights have we heard get sanctioned before? I've never once heard of no convention thing being in the way of it. Never heard of it. Yeah? What is this? The way the WBC carry on like there's some political organisation. What is this? No, it's not no snap election. Yeah? Your job is to sanction fights about, oh, well, we've got to have a snap election and, it's going to be hung, it's going to be, what's that thing they call? Oh, we've got a hung parliament, yeah, oh, we've got a hung convention. Oh, sorry, Dillian, sorry, boxing fans, we've got a hung convention right now, and, yeah? Oh, sorry, Dillian, we're waiting for Article 16 to get passed, and, if it's not done by what's wrong with these guys? Yeah? Zesty looking asses. WBC, you zesty. 100%. All the way zesty you be. Never mind fruity. Never mind. Not even a bit of fruity. Listen, WBC, you wish you was fruity. You zesty. 100%. But to be fair, I can't even be mad at the WBC because what have I been saying for years? For years I've been saying Dillian White and Eddie Hearn they've played themselves because when AJ lost to Ruiz, yeah, guess what? Ruiz started playing games, talking about, yeah, well, I'm going to be doing Undisputed with Wilder. Guess what? Within 30 days of Andy Ruiz and Al Heyman not complying, Eddie Hearn had a case filed in court. Civil court filed. No messing around. This Dillian White thing, and I've been saying this for years, this Dillian White thing, all we've heard is, oh, lawyers, yeah? Eddie Hearn ain't never done no lawyers until recently. It's only in the last 2 months Eddie Hearn's or Team Dillian White have actually filed a case. And don't worry, I got the leaked documents coming soon. Yeah, you best believe that. The leaked documents coming real soon. Ain't no one seen them yet, leaked. But anyway, before I do that video, for now, like I said, up until the last 2 months, your man Dillian White and Eddie Hearn haven't filed no case. They've just been talking and just been threatening. And I think Dillian White tried to be tight. He thought, oh well, I don't really want to do a proper case. Let me just try and threaten them with lawyers. But unfortunately, we know the WBC is backed with proper cash. El Trapahan cash. They ain't hurting for money. I've explained it before. If WBC was hurting for money, do you think they'd have allowed a WBC heavyweight title belt to sit inactive for 2 years? Deontay Wilder had to sue to get Fury to fight, and you think you're just going to waltz in? You think they're just going to throw you a shot like that? If Fury don't want to do it? Get serious here, yeah? And I'm not sure what Fury is doing, but all I know is that WBC, Wilder had to sue to get his shot, yeah. God knows why. But the point is, at any time, in that 2 year or 18-month period, yeah, at any time, the WBC could have stepped in and said, Tyson Fury, I don't know what you're playing at, I don't care about the court, I don't care about what you do or don't want to do, but if you want to represent our belt, you'll be fighting Wilder. That could have happened in June 2020. So what was the benefit for the WBC to sit there for 18 months with their belt inactive? It makes no sense. Nowhere. The only way it makes sense is if they've been touched or somehow, otherwise corrupted by forces influenced by that side of things. Because it definitely didn't benefit Wilder's side, did it? How can it benefit Wilder's side to have to go to court? Doesn't make no sense. It definitely ain't benefiting DILLIAN WHYTE's side, is it? The only side things seem to benefit is the belt holder, the current belt holder. And again, now, today, you see the news. Yeah? And the thing is with Eddie Hearn stayed getting cucked. Now, to be fair, the case is now in court, but this shows you how much respect the WBC don't have for Eddie Hearn. Because they've clearly been gassing him up by a text saying, yeah, we're going to announce it on the, what's it called? We're going to announce it in the convention. That's why Eddie Hearn was banging on about it. But for how long has Eddie Hearn stayed taking their words? Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We've heard that. Eddie Hearn's been relaying. Eddie Hearn's been cucked for the last 2 years. Oh, yeah, they can. Maurizio Suleiman's a good man and he's going to do this. Every month, without fail, Eddie Hearn's been telling us, oh, Maurizio Suleiman, he's a good man and he's going to do this. And this month wasn't no different. He was telling us what Maurizio Suleiman said he'd going to do. Oops. Because I never understood that for myself. Again, we're not talking about some big political process. This is simple. Maurizio Suleiman should never need to tell Eddie Hearn what he's going to do. He should just do it. You understand? That's what this game is. This game is about making fights. It's not about, oh, well, I'll do this next week. Just do it now. Yeah? If I was Eddie Hearn, I'd have had him on the phone and said, listen, never mind what you're going to do. Do it right now. Yeah, whilst I'm on the phone. Simple email. Yeah? Do it right now. Otherwise, it's not going to get done, as it happened 3 years later. And what's supposed to happen is Eddie Hearn and DILLIAN WHYTE were supposed to step in with the legal team 2 years ago. Not now. And now, to add insult to injury or to show you how much respect the WBC don't have for Team DILLIAN WHYTE, they're now using the legal case as their excuse as to not fight, as to not sign it. So for the last 2 weeks, they've spent gassing up Eddie Hearn, telling him, yeah, don't worry, we're going to announce the White versus Fury fight at the convention. Now the convention's been and gone, and they've said, yeah, sorry, couldn't come to a decision because you've got a case pending against us. Can you imagine that? Now, I'm sure people will be saying, oh, but YB, Eddie Hearn didn't get played because, trust me, he got played. Because guess what? The WBC could have told him, couldn't they? Why Eddie Hearn wouldn't have been telling us for the last 2 weeks it's going to be announced at the convention. The WBC could have told, because the case, Eddie Hearn's and DILLIAN WHYTE's case, has been in court since September. So Eddie Hearn, the WBC could have told Eddie Hearn, Eddie, don't go on IFL TV every day and tell the fans that it's going to be announced at the convention because we got a case and we ain't do nothing. Eddie Hearn been out here rabbiting on because they've gassed him up. They've played him. They've cocked him. 100%. And from what I'm hearing, I think Team Fury have told Maurizio, basically, from what I understand, this has been a big kind of, Team Fury are laughing now at Eddie Hearn. They've had him running around, talking about what's going to happen, and he's been punked. I've heard that Frank Warren's been involved in this, orchestrating it behind the scenes. They've basically played him, yeah? They've told Maurizio, we've got 500 grand for you, gas Eddie Hearn up, have him out doing all the telling people what's going to happen, and then pulled the rug at the last minute. Cuck him. That's what I'm hearing. Frank Warren's had a hand in this. Team Fury, everyone laughing at him right now. Yeah, because he's been out here saying what's going to happen on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday going to happen this. Oops. Because I don't care what no one says. This right here is the biggest punking. Yeah? They're using your own... Anyone else, I don't know about you, yeah, but anyone else, if I had a legal case pending against me, this is the most simple legal case. But if I had any respect here for the people, or if I had any fear of the people who were suing me, any logical person, or any person who had any respect for the person suing them, they'd say, let me just give the man what he wants. Yeah? Let me just, you know what, Dillian? Let me just do this on Tuesday for you. But the fact, not only have they not given Dillian what he wants to settle this case, the fact they've then spun it and used that as a reason as to why they're not going to do it. Oh, we're not doing it because you're suing us. You weren't going to give him it anyway. But it just shows you how they got no respect whatsoever. Not even a little bit of respect. Because a fair person would say, you know what, you got a fair claim here. There's no other fights, better fights to put on. Genuinely, yeah, I wouldn't even mind so much. Even though Dillian's been cucked for the last 3 years, I wouldn't even mind so much, yeah, if there was a killer fight. Let's say AJ had beat Usyk, and that undisputed fight was sitting there. Because, by the way, that was actually going to be controversial as well. If that had happened, if that makes sense. If AJ had beat Usyk, then right now, that fight would be there, and Dillian would still be the kind of arguable mandatory. But if that was the case, I wouldn't mind so much. Okay, you're going to cuck Dillian, but we're going to get a cracking fight. Usyk's out of the picture. AJ out of the picture. There's nothing else going on. What do you mean you can't do this because we've got a legal case? And DILLIAN WHYTE's made it quite clear that this isn't a case where Dillian wants to sit around and wait for lawyers. Dillian's made it clear that he wants the Fury fight. So what do you mean, we're not going to announce it because you've got a legal case pending? Dillian's not saying, yep, I'm lawyered up and I'm ready to sit around waiting. And now to add insult to injury, the WBC are now saying, and Team Fury are now saying, oh, because of the legal case, because of the arbitration, we're going to have to take a warm-up fight. We're going to have to go in another direction. So don't tell me no one, this ain't what I told you it was months ago. This right here is what you call touched. 100%. Team Fury and the wider El Trapahan have touched the WBC. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. Sky Sports is now reporting that Team Fury are going in another direction because DILLIAN WHYTE's tied up in legal stuff regards to the WBC. So you can't win. Well, you can win. The way you win is you sue them, but the case dropped in middle September. Why weren't you doing this years ago? So they can do this. And I think, or again, from a legal point of view, they've got every right to say, yeah, well, we're not dealing with Dillian now because we've got a legal case against us. We can't afford to have any interactions with him until the case is cleared. So from that point of view, oops, it's peak for Dillian's career right now as it pertains to the WBC. Because now he definitely ain't going to get what he wants until the case is gone. So, but in a way, he can't win. Because if he didn't have no case, you ain't going to get it either way. But actually, to be fair, well, I don't know. Oh, I'm not sure about be fair, but either way, to be fair to an extent, at this point in time, and this is what makes it quite ironic or quite shocking, is the fact that if there was any time, yeah, where the WBC was actually going to grant this fight, it would have been now, I think. No word of a lie. If that makes sense. If there was ever a time Dillian actually would have got the shot, it would have been now. So it's kind of like, you can't believe, it's unbelievable. All them years, yeah, where it made sense to sue, you didn't sue. Now, when there's no fighters around, Wilder's been fully filled in, and AJ's whooped, and Usyk's busy with a rematch clause, there's no other viable fights, really. This was a time, if there was ever a time Dillian would have genuinely got the shot, just by things playing out, and not needing lawyers, he'd have got it this time. But this time, he's gone in with the lawyers, and now it's given him an excuse, it's given him a legal barrier, to say, well, we can't deal with we can't deal with a client or we can't engage in any business transactions with a person we've got a legal case pending with. That's essentially what WBC's saying. But my whole thing is, why didn't you tell us that Why was Maurizio gassing Eddie Hearn up, and everyone else to be fair? I'm pretty sure I saw an interview of Maurizio in the last month saying the same thing. Oh yeah, well we're not going to announce it today, but we'll do it at a convention. And I already knew that didn't smell right. I'd already heard he'd been touched, and they're looking for a nice political way to kind of weasel out of it. Oh, your convention didn't go your way. And 2-2's what happens? Yeah, the convention didn't go your way. They cooked up an excuse. No, we can't. Sorry, Dillian. We can't give you what you're suing for. Isn't that mad? Dillian's suing. Dillian isn't suing just for money. He don't just want money for the sake of having money. Now, will he want damages now? Probably. But that's after the event. The point is, he wanted a fight. He wasn't asking for. This wasn't a case of. This wasn't an accidental injury claim where he slipped at the WBC headquarters and trying to bump some coins. Yeah? This ain't one of them ones. He's trying to sue to get a fight. Can you believe that? But this is, I mean, if anything shows you the state of the world today, it's this kind of case. A man is having to sue a boxing governing body to get a fight. Wow! Can you believe that? That's supposed to be their job, yeah. It's supposed to be to put the best fights on. And you've got fighters suing to get a good fight. But guess what? What do we know? These governing bodies never have no problem sanctioning bum fight after bum fight. Can you not imagine that? Now, I'm not saying, you might know my opinion. I'm not saying Dillian's the best ever and whatever else, but the fact is, right now, 2021, he top 5. How many rusty, dusty fights have we seen? WBC sanction with Deontay Wilder in. Wilder vs. Bumzeel. Wilder vs. Ortiz. All the bum fights they sanctioned. Gerald Washington. Wilder had 10 random bums back to back to back to back. Not once did one of them bums have to sue for it. Dillian White comes along for the last 4 years. Decent fight. Everyone's been saying consistently, I'd rather see Dillian versus Wilder than Wilder versus Brazil. I'd rather see Dillian versus Wilder than this fight, than that fight, than the Ortiz. People, no word of a lie. People were getting rematches. Ortiz got a rematch before Dillian White had one shot. It's madness. And none of it made any commercial sense. Which is what I've always said. None of the WBC's actions for the last 5 years have made any real sense, to be honest with you. Every single point, they've made less money, which tells you it's backhand deals, bottom line. WBC has been infiltrated and they've been touched. Facts, 100%. El Trabajan, stay keeping WBC paid, 100%. Behind closed doors, from what I'm hearing. Because it don't make no sense no other way. And, like I said, I've heard from people within the organisation to confirm that. But anyway, let me give you, man, let me give you the official statement from these goofies. From these zesty looking asses. So, the Telegraph wrote the following. WBC will not order Tyson Fury to fight Dillian White due to ongoing legal case. Dillian White's opportunity to fight Tyson Fury for the WBC heavyweight world title hit a roadblock on Tuesday night due to an ongoing legal case brought by the boxer against the sanctioning body over a year ago. That's not true. It was filed in September, but either way. A heavyweight blockbuster between the two Britons early next year was expected to be announced this week, but WBC indicated at their annual convention in Mexico City that the case, which was brought by White's legal team, is due to delay him now from challenging for the belt, as it is currently unresolved in an arbitration court, and thus they cannot order a mandatory Fury versus White contest. Boom, there you go. So that's what they've written. I mean, Maurizio Suleiman himself has commented, there is a procedure with regards to the date of the mandatory in the heavyweight division. Upon direct advice of WBC legal counsel, I am not in position to discuss any further. So whatever that means. That tells you that they're using this now as a legal barrier. And again, for me, why, if this was the case, yeah? Because you know, like, you've spoken to your legal team. Why hadn't, if you were being fair, yeah, why hadn't WBC, when Eddie Hearn was telling everyone for the last 2 weeks, yeah, annual convention, why did you tell Eddie that? Because Eddie didn't get out of his arse, I don't believe, because I've never heard of an annual convention before. I've never heard of an annual convention. So where did Eddie get that from? Did he pull it out his backside? I don't think so. Someone told him that. Someone pacified him with that. Oh, yeah, Eddie, we're going to do it here. So why are you being disingenuous for? You could have said from a month ago, yeah, sorry. Because, in fact, tell I, let's get this straight, people. My documents I'm going to leak in the next few days, yeah, show Eddie Hearn and DILLIAN WHYTE's case has been active for 60 days. So why, in the last 60 days, has Maurizio Suleiman and WBC not come out and said, boom, I'm not being funny here. DILLIAN WHYTE's case, which had been going for 60 days, that's before the AJ fight versus Usyk. So think of all the things that have happened in the last 60 days, yeah? You've had Usyk and AJ. You've had Wilder and Fury. A whole load of things have gone on since then. And in that time, one of the key narratives has been Fury versus White. So why haven't WBC come out and said, over the last 60 days, I don't know why people talk about DILLIAN WHYTE for, because we're in a case with him. Nothing ain't happening till the case is done. They haven't mentioned nothing. This is the first we've heard of any case, is it not? From the WBC's point of view. What's that about? And this shows you how messy they are and how manipulative they are, bottom line. Because if you wasn't following what Eddie Hearn said a few times about it, and that's the thing, Eddie Hearn has never actually linked up. This is the first time we've heard from anyone that the legal case would hinder the actual fight, or would hinder the mandating of the fight. Now, to be fair, to an extent, you know what lawyers are like. Lawyers, their job is to limit risk. So from a lawyer's point of view, I understand that they're basically saying that, listen, we've got a case with this man. Let's not make it any more messier by entering into another business transaction. Having an open legal case and an active business transaction just makes things messy, more complicated. However, I'm not sure what DILLIAN WHYTE's legal team are doing right now, but I'm not sure about their position. But if DILLIAN does really want this fight, if I was DILLIAN WHYTE's legal team right now, based on this WBC quote, I'd be reaching out to them and saying, listen, if you're honestly saying that all that's stopping you mandating this fight, we can write an agreement and a contract and sign it today. We will drop this case if you mandate this fight. Now again, I'm not sure if DILLIAN WHYTE wants damages. If he's going for damages, then so be it. The case is going to have to be played out. Because WBC ain't going to hand money out unless they lose. I don't believe. So it just depends. If DILLIAN WHYTE's going for the fight mainly, then he should be, his legal team, if they've got any IQ, which I'm not sure they have, truth be known. Yeah, you ain't hired the YB, so you, yeah, your dopey legal team took you 3 years, one of them ones, them slow ones. Yeah, wait there. Took you 3 years to do what the YB told you to do 3 years ago. Wow, dopey. So again, I'm not holding no hope out that they've got any IQ, but if they do have any IQ, they'll be reaching out saying to the WBC, let's enter into an agreement right now, today. We agree to drop this case if you agree to announce this fight right now. Simple as that. That's where both parties should be at right now. And if the WBC refuse to do that, then you know they're super touched, they're super manipulated, or they're super corrupted at that point. It's almost like they move the goalposts. When it's, you say black, they say white. You say up, they say down. Yeah, because when DILLIAN didn't have a case for the last, well, like I said, the case only came in September. But when DILLIAN didn't have a case, It was, well, we got the Usyk. I remember, in fact, that's the point. Don't forget, people, when it was AJ and when AJ lost to Usyk, yeah, they came out and mandated, oh, it's Fury versus Usyk. They were desperate to put any other fight on. For years, I've been saying, why aren't the WBC mandating the undisputed fight? For years, we were saying, why haven't WBC stepped in and said, no, Wilder, you're not fighting Brazil, we're ordering the AJ fight. They crickets. For years, I've been saying that. Let's get both fighters ducking as such, because everyone blames everyone. Fine, we'll cut out the ducking. Why don't WBC come out and say, we're mandating this fight? Oops, never once. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a fight which no one really cares about, compared to AJ versus the champion. But the minute it's Fury versus Usyk, a fight no one really care about and it's brand new. People were talking about AJ versus WBC for 4 years. A brand new fight no one cares about. Usyk versus Fury. And all of a sudden they're giving a 30-day cooling off. Proper doing the most, weren't they? Doing the most for that fight. So it's kind of mad, isn't it, when you think about it? They put that in, didn't they? They had no problem talking about Fury versus Usyk. That got done instantly. No mention of DILLIAN WHYTE though. No mention. And now, like I said, they moved the goalposts. They slipped things in. Oh, it was convenient to use the Usyk fight. Oh, sorry, DILLIAN, we can't mandate you because we've got the Usyk fight, got the undisputed fight. Now that's played out. Usyk's busy. Oh, sorry, we can't do the fight because we've got a legal case. And that's what I mean when I say disingenuous, because, like I've explained, before AJ lost to Usyk, we already knew, or the WBC already knew, there was a legal case. So, why were they talking about, we're not going to talk about DILLIAN because we've got the Usyk fight? You could have said then, we're not talking about DILLIAN because he got a legal case. Never mind. And that could have been that. But the fact they're bringing it up now, when there's nowhere else to run, it's just, it says it all. It says exactly what's been going on for the most amount of time. Anyway, before I go, I want to read one more. There's one more article here. Here we go. DILLIAN WHYTE fails to get Tyson Fury world title fight sanctioned by the WBC in another big blow to mandatory challenger. Sunsport understands that WBC has failed to pass a resolution, finally giving the Londoner DILLIAN WHYTE his big chance. It could now be months before the mandatory challenger for Fury's belt is ratified. And Tyson Fury is desperate for a fight early next year, having only had one fight in 21 months. So there you go, there's another little piece there. And like I said, ultimately, from what I'm hearing now, in fact, I'm going to do a video on this in its own right, but from what I'm hearing right now, your man Tyson Fury, they're flipping this nicely. Yeah? This is getting spun now as a, sorry, Tyson Fury's not going to be inactive. DILLIAN WHYTE, because until this case is wrapped up, DILLIAN ain't fighting no one. So it's perfect. Tyson Fury gets what he wants, i.e. doing something other than fighting DILLIAN, it appears. And DILLIAN just gets cucked some more. And and this is the thing, I feel DILLIAN's being fair, because he essentially pulled out of the Otto Warren fight for the Fury fight. Think about it, if DILLIAN WHYTE, just wanted to sit around and play legal games, he would have fought, innit? Think about it. If he knew that WBC was going to pull this move, number one, like I've explained, Eddie Hearn wouldn't have been running around talking about Tuesday. Number 2, Dillian would have gone ahead with the Otto Wallin fight. As such. Because they'd have thought, well, I'm not going to get the Fury fight. WBC's made it clear that we're in legal litigation. But the fact Dillian's been saying for how long now, or recently speaking, that yep, Otto Wallin's out of the way, it's time to move on with a big fight. That's been Team Dillian White's narrative. Yep, it's time to... They haven't... Show me a quote here where you've heard Team Dillian White, Eddie Hearn or Dillian White say, well, yep, we're in this for... we've got a lawsuit with the WBC, we're not expecting this fight because of the lawsuit, and we're just knuckling down for the lawsuit now. They've never said that. They've always been positioning for the fight happening ASAP. So this shows you how much of a blindside it is for Team Dillian White, and it shows you again how much no respect, how much disrespect WBC has for him. This is a pumpkin, I'm afraid. This is a proper. Again, this isn't chance. This is what you call. This right here, this kind of trick has been designed, and I already told you. I've heard that Frank Warren, Bob Arum, all them different characters have been involved in engineering this, and they're all having a laugh from what I understand. I mean, it makes sense as well, because what do we know? Eddie Hearn said he saw, who did he see? I think he saw Bob Arum at the weekend, and Bob Arum was basically being muggy and whatnot. So it's all linking in. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. They got Dillian and Eddie Hearn gassed up, and now look, they all laughing, from what I understand. It's been engineered, and now, to add insult to injury, they're talking about Fury fighting someone else. And you best believe that will get done. Yeah, there won't be no sanctioning problem with that. That will get put straight through, no problem whatsoever. So this really is a messy situation, but I guess to one extent, at least now, it's in court. Bottom line. And I think Team Dillian White, if you're listening to this, yeah, from a legal point of view, it's smart for you right now to offer, if today, November 17th, after the WBC telling you that they can't offer you no fight because of the legal case, from a legal point of view, if you now offer a truce, or there's an official word for it, I can't remember the word, but if you now offer a truce and say, we have... Put it in, obviously, on the record as well. On the record, offer the WBC a way out of this situation without no financial penalty. And if they do decline that, that's going to actually increase the strength of your case, if that makes sense. Because any judge who can see the fact that, wait there a minute, Dillian White offered to end the case if you just give him what he wants, which is what he's supposed to be getting, i.e. the Fury fight. So any judge that reads that and sees the fact that Team Dillian White are on record saying they were prepared to drop the case to get this fight done, and that's all they want, you're going to end up winning a whole bunch of damages, in my opinion, and the fight. Much like, well, to an extent, kind of like what Deontay Wilder did. Except that I believe you will actually be entitled for damages as well, because you've been done wrong. Whereas Deontay Wilder wasn't really done wrong. His was more of a contractual dispute. This for me is out and out discrimination, because other people have got what you're entitled to. Whereas other people in Deontay Wilder versus Fury, the Deontay Wilder versus Fury case, no one else got anything, did they? Whereas in Dillian White's situation, you got people like Dominic Breazeale got a shot, Luis Ortiz got 2 shots, Tyson Fury got 3 shots, and now you stay getting punked. Now you want the fight, and they're telling you, well, you got a legal case. It's like you can't win. So, but like I said, Team Dillian White right now, you need to go to WBC today on record. Offer them a way out of this situation. Offer them a way to... Don't give them a leg to stand on, essentially. Show the judge, have a paper trail showing at every stage you've tried to be fair. And so today, if they're saying we can't do anything because of the legal case, offer them to close it today. If you get the fight mandated today. Yeah? And I'd bet money that if you do that, you're going to end up with a whole bag full of money at the end of it if they say no. Because that just shows that it's completely corrupt. It makes no sense whatsoever. And it shows how it will spell out to the judge how at every stage where you've tried to make things happen. I mean, for example, don't forget, people, that Dillian White was mandated to fight Dominic Breazeale for the Deontay Wilder mandatory. Ortiz pulled out for a fight versus Wilder, so there was a space open. Wilder didn't have a date. The WBC, instead of allowing the already mandated final eliminator between Breazeale and Dillian White, they just upgraded Breazeale with no process. They upgraded Breazeale because that's what Deontay Wilder's preference was. Rather than saying, well, White versus Breazeale's already locked in, Deontay, find another bum to fight, and you'll get the winner after. Instead, they didn't do that. Or they didn't say, oh, you know what? Let's upgrade. Let's leave it to a fan vote. What do the fans want? Which would have been Dillian White. Or better yet, let's leave it to a fan vote. Or let's leave it to a commercial vote. Let's leave it to a purse bid. Which promoter, which broadcaster will bid the most for which fight? Leave it to the market. And guess what? It would have been Dillian. Instead, some no doubt fruity process was made. God knows what. That's the thing. In the courts, they'll get chewed to pieces because what process are you following? You weren't following a commercial process. It stinks of discrimination or some sort of bias for sure. That make no sense. How Ortiz gets 2 shots out of nowhere, and my man can't get 1. Again, even Tyson Fury came along, didn't he? Tyson Fury popped up. Tyson Fury could have had no ranking. Yeah? Tyson Fury had been off for 3 years and came back and fought Panini and some other dude. Top 50 guys. Tyson Fury couldn't have been in the top 10 when the WBC mandated the first fight. Wait there, so what process are you following, WBC? Because Dillian was, at that point in time, Dillian was sitting there thinking, what? I've been active, fighting, paying your bills in your top 10 fights for years. And this was 2018. Tyson Fury skipped the line, having fought no top 10s. Having put no money in WBC's coffers. So again, this case it stinks.